I have a request to all the browser makers, browser vendors to change the current implementation of storage. There are a few changes I want to propose. One of them I didn't propose it, I actually highlighted it in my previous video, which was don't count on the HTML5 session storage for storing session related stuff. In this, I highlighted something that was inconsistent, and in this video today, I'm going to highlight something else that is a little off the bat, a little off the mark, and it can be made more consistent. I don't know how to approach them, so if you're someone who's important in one of those committees, this is probably a request to you to pass on this message. It'll make the world a happier place by a small measure. The behavior I'm highlighting is this. Let's say I open any website, and I've just opened a local copy of my own website, and this is Chrome, I believe. Yes, this is Chrome, and on Chrome, if I just say local storage dot, let's say I get an item that does not exist. Get item does not exist. It returns the value null, understandably. That's fine. But if I get an item which does exist, but I set the item's value to null, let's do that. First, let me set an item. I'll call it foo, and I'll set the value null. Now, if I get this item, it actually doesn't return the null value. It doesn't return the special value null. It actually returns a string that has the value null, which means it returns a truthy value instead of being a falsy value. Let's look at that. If I say get item foo, see, it returns a string that doesn't really make sense because, and if I look at what it actually stores, it doesn't store a string. If I look at the session storage or the local storage, here's the value foo, and that's null. Now, so can you please change this behavior? And this behavior is consistent across all browsers. So this is a plea to all browser vendors. Let's open, this is Opera. And on Opera, again, I have this value null. And if I set this value to null, and if I say session storage dot get item foo, it gives me back the string null. But if I say session storage dot get item that does not exist, then it gives me null, the proper null value. This behavior is on Edge as well, on Internet Explorer, on Firefox, Chrome, and Opera. It doesn't matter which storage you use, whether the local storage or session storage. The storage API underlying both is exactly the same. So this is the request. Can you please change this behavior so that, because then this involves extra bit of coding in the application layer. Every time you got to check if you're reading a value, if it's not null, not the string null, and you're setting a value, you need to have some kind of extra thing in place. Which something like this. So I created a storage manager thing, and if you're setting a value, I say if the value is not defined or is null or undefined or something, then don't do anything. And this would be a non-breaking change because any code written prior to this change would anyway have this extra check of not reading the string null while getting an item from storage and not writing to the storage if the value they're writing is undefined or null or falsy. So it would not break any existing code. If you actually change this behavior, that will help a lot. Thank you. मेरा भाई मगन वे चला मेरा भाई कमरे नमरो के लोर
अरे राम रे नाम रो गेलो रे पकड़ो छोड़ो नी मन गए ये चला मेरा भाई मगन वे में चला मेरा भाई राम रे नाम रो गेलो रे पकड़ो छोड़ो नी मुर्खाई अरे राम रे नाम रो गेलो